Hello and welcome in. I am Greg Smith, Senior Recruiting Analyst for Inside Nebraska, proudly part of the National Rivals Network. Here again with another Throw and Bones video response question from our weekly chat this week. We had another chat on the site, nebraska.rivals.com this week, where I took your questions about, or took our subscriber questions about what they had on their minds about recruiting right now. And one of the ones that came up that I definitely wanted to dive in some more was, and it came from Huskers 2416 over on the message board, was, quote, I think Nebraska needs more than two edge rushers in this class. You likely lose Nelson, Mathis, and Tanner after this season, and then you're left with Gunnerson and Butler. Why are they only taking two? And when does Cameron Lenhart commit? So that was a multi-pronged question, right? And I guess we'll address the first part of it first, which is about them needing more than two edge rushers in this class. So right now, let's set the table. Right now, Nebraska has high three-star Maverick Noonan, edge player out of Elkhorn South, right here in Nebraska, that is committed to this in this class. They had Ashley Williams before, and he decommitted and then committed to Auburn pretty shortly after that, leaving them with just Noonan in the class as a good base and a good start. But you do need more. The thought is that Cameron Lenhart, the IMG four-star edge, will end up committing here sooner rather than later. I still think that ends up happening sometime before this season. So I do think that Nebraska will get good news there. And so let's just say, you should never assume in recruiting, but let's just say that Nebraska ends up with those two guys. And I don't want to say just those two, because those are two very good players. Mav could end up being a guy that ends up getting a ratings bump and ends up as a four-star by the end of his senior season before he enrolls early at Nebraska. And so you could end up with a pair of four-star edge defenders, which I think if you had on paper, if you had told Nebraska fans, hey, you'll get in the 2023 recruiting class two four-star or one borderline four-star and another four-star edge player at a position of need, we'll take that, right? The problem does come in with the second part, or the next part, of Husker 2416's question or response, which was you are likely to lose Garrett Nelson, O'Shawn Mathis, and Caleb Tanner after this season. And those are guys that technically they can come back because of COVID and all the funny accounting when it comes to scholarships and eligibility, but it's not likely that all of those guys come back. It is more likely that they all leave, right? And so you then would have those next guys up with Blaise Gunnerson, Jamari Butler, a pair of guys that have gotten some really nice praise throughout this fall camp from both head coach Scott Frost and defensive coordinator Eric Chinander, as well as their position coach Mike Dawson. And so that's a good start there. And then you would have those two freshmen coming in as well. There's always a couple of walk-on guys that kind of pop up too. I also wonder if this is a spot, and this is why the final part of the question is, why are they only taking two? I wonder if this wouldn't be a spot where Nebraska should go ahead and or look at heavily a transfer addition at that position after the season, the same way that they did with O'Shawn Mathis last offseason. Because if you've got some fairly young guys in that defensive line or that edge room, you're going to want to supplement that and balance out the numbers with an older guy, right? And so being able to bring in another transfer, even maybe a junior college guy, if the right guy comes available, would, I think, be a good savvy move for Nebraska to go ahead and pursue. And don't forget, what ends up happening, if this is why it's so critical for the guys that they have on the team already to have success. It's always critical, but it's even more critical for recruiting, not just to go ahead and continue with this coaching staff down the road because they need wins, but also if O'Shawn Mathis goes ahead and has a really good season, the type of season that it kind of feels like he's heading towards, given all the praise that he's gotten since he's been at Nebraska and on campus. If he has a good season, that gives Nebraska more ammunition on the recruiting trail to go to that next big time edge rusher and say that's a transfer and say, hey, we had O'Shawn for 1 year, turned it around quickly. He's now off to the NFL. You come be that next guy to help bridge the gap while we're also going to work in and continue to get more snaps for guys like Blaise Gunnerson and Jamari Butler. So I do think that transfer portal is a nice area here that we could be looking at, because taking three high school players might be a little difficult to expect one of them to come in and contribute for what that would be the 2023 season and from that 2023 recruiting class. So that would be difficult to do. So I think it does make sense to go ahead and add a transfer there. But that's going to do it for us this week on this video. We keep these pretty short and sweet, answering you guys' questions, our subscribers' questions. Make sure you go over and check out nebraska.rivals.com. We host that chat every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Also, make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube channel. We've got tons of content from Nebraska Fall Camp Up. We've got a couple of really good videos from yesterday's open practice that they held in Memorial Stadium, all the post-game press conferences that you want to view as well. Make sure you're liking this video. Tell a friend to subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe over at nebraska.rivals.com. I'll catch you guys next time.